We are extremely honored to welcome Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte's parents, Robert and Susie Schulte. Your presence is an honor, and without your support, today's ceremony would not be possible. Thank you. And joining us today as our guest speaker is classmate and lacrosse teammate of Lieutenant Schulte, Major Bridget Atlas Fitzsimmons. We also welcome several other friends and family members who are joining us virtually this year, as well as the class of 2006. We would also like to welcome our superintendent, Lieutenant General Clark, as well as the Air Force Academy's senior leader team and distinguished guests. Finally, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to our award nominees, their families, friends, and guests. Today's ceremony honors graduating cadets who have made significant contributions to the Air Force Academy's character and leadership development efforts during their cadet careers. These efforts are consistent with the character, leadership, and spirit of First Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte. First Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte, USAFA class of 2006, was killed in action by a roadside bomb outside of Kabul, Afghanistan on 20 May 2009. Lieutenant Schulte was the Academy's first female graduate killed in action in the global war on terrorism and was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and a National Intelligence Medal for Valor. At the time of her death, she was establishing the foundation for a new era of military strategy with the Afghan military and creating bonds that would endure for decades to come. Lieutenant Schulte embraced her role as a servant leader. Whether as a cadet, captain of the women's lacrosse team, or an active duty airman, she eclipsed the high expectations that others set for her. She was a mentor to her subordinates, peers, and superiors. During her time as an Air Force Academy cadet and as an Air Force officer, Roz Schulte was indeed an outstanding leader of character. Today, we recognize 5 graduates of the class of 2021 who embody her legacy. To lead this in the effort this morning, we are honored to have with us Major Bridget Fitzsimmons, Lieutenant Schulte's friend, classmate, and teammate. Major Fitzsimmons is a native of Minnesota and a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy's class of 2006. While a cadet at the Air Force Academy, she majored in aeronautical engineering, was captain of the women's lacrosse team, and served as a squadron commander. After graduation and commissioning, she went on to earn her Master's of Science in Aeronautical Engineering at the Air Force Institute of Technology. From there, she went on to the Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training, where she graduated with one of only 4 fighter assignments in her class of 14 students. She went on to fly the F-15E with assignments as both instructor pilot and evaluator pilot. She is currently the director of the operations at the 334th Fighter Squadron at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Major Fitzsimmons.
All right, good morning. Thank you, Senior Master Sergeant Garcia, for the introduction. Also, thank you to the Academy and the CCLD for inviting me, and Mr. and Mrs. Schulte for your unwavering support and letting me share my stories about the legendary First Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte. Also, good morning to the families and friends that are Zooming in or here in person. I know the nominees are surely truly thankful for your support. You 5 nominees should be proud of yourselves and humbled. I know the families are bursting with pride. What an award, and the electricity of Grad Week is just rippling through the Academy right now. It's pretty awesome. Such an exciting time. So I'll start off quick, a little bit background about me. She did a little intro. 15 years ago, I graduated for the class of 2006, spots. and was off to Abbott for a quick, fast and furious master's, and the real adventure began after that, my flying career. Beginning at Shepherd, where I met my husband, my partner in crime, and then off to the mighty Strike Eagle, the two of us together. I deployed to Afghanistan while assigned to the 335th. It was 2 years after Roz had passed away and was killed in action, so I finally was able to deploy to Afghanistan and provide that overwatch. After the Chiefs, my husband and I went back to the FTU, the Fighter Training Unit, to teach the next generation's F-15 pilots and WISOs, so weapon system officers for all you guys out there. And we've been there ever since, yes, 12 years at Seymour Johnson. I always wanted to be a teacher, and I love to fly, so the combo of the two is just perfect. I love my job, I love what I do. We've got 2 eaglets of our own, 2 kids, and we have recently switched over to the reserves and full-time instructor pilots. By the way, 06 is taking over at Seymour Johnson. Baron Pearson is the commander of the 336th, and Nasty Kiefer is the 335th DCOM. Niels Ashmore is taking over the Eagles with me, and I'll be as director of operations, so field fire. So that's enough about me. I'm here about Roz. There are many named awards out there, Jabara, Reisner, and we know all these big names, but who were they? Were they serious about the job all the time? Did they make jokes? So my goal is to breathe a little bit of life into Roz for you guys today and to truly show you why she was a legend. I met Roz on the lacrosse field our 4th degree year. Myself, Bryony, and Roz all had previous lacrosse experience. So we are honored to be starters our 4th degree year. Bryony and I were on defense, and Roz was posted on the other end of the field, right in front of the net, ready to score. And she had this unique ability to read the field, know exactly what was going to happen before anyone else did, put herself in a piece of space, catch the ball, and she would hold the stick such that no defender could resist it. They'd go in for the check, she'd spin around them, put a jink on the goalie, and find net every time. It was absolutely pure poetry. And her sphere of influence on the field was so great that you just had to throw the ball anywhere in her general vicinity and she'd get there. Granted, that means she may actually have to move because she wasn't anticipating you throwing the ball. That was that bad. But we never lost a game our 4th degree year. We even defeated Army and Navy and all the California teams. In fact, we were so good, we'd win by like 20 points. That is unheard of in lacrosse. But it was because Nora, our coach at the time, would tell us that if we won by 20 points, we would not have to do sprints on Monday. And we would secretly tell the other team, we're really sorry, we're gonna run up the score on you. You don't understand, we don't wanna do sprints on Monday. So speaking of running, Roz did not like running. Yes, we played lacrosse, the game of finesse and athletic ability and aerobic endurance. Lots of running should be involved. However, those sprints were torture, and Roz had this one pace. It was cool, calm, and collected, steady Roz shuffle. And it didn't matter if we were doing sprints or the overlook. She was still at the same exact pace every time. However, she had a smile on her face, and she was egging us on and telling us to go faster and make it happen faster and doing great. And we were like, Roz, run faster. But Roz's like, I'll see you at the end. And the thing is if we had beat our time that we set in the very beginning, we'd be done for the day. But Roz was Roz, and she was just going to keep that same pace every time. She hated it, but she knew it needed to be done all the time, telling us we were rocking it. So it was no surprise she became our captain our 2 degree year and our 1st year. She was a natural on the field with her skills, and everyone would just want to follow her lead. She was just so humble. She also knew how to have fun. On Fridays, we would scrimmage each other. We would play extra kind of fun games, maybe even go out for ice cream or go get cookies. Oh, by the way, Roz loved food, so that's another interesting fact about Roz. We would go to Panera or B-Dubs. She'd order 3 meals worth and then look at us and be like, what do you guys want? And I'm like, I don't know how she could be so thin, hate to run, and eat like a lineman, but she was amazing at it. And I remember one summer day right before 1st year, Roz, Bryony, Amanda, and myself, our 4 06ers of the lacrosse team, of course, Roz was taking up half the table of the food. We're just talking about what was going to happen the next year. I was worried about taking on squadron commander, juggling my major, and also this new captain position, which I definitely was prepared to follow Roz's lead. Bryony, of course, is going to be wing staff. We saw that coming. Oh, by the way, she'll be a general someday of Space Force. She's already stood up her own squadron over there at Schriever. She's rocking it. And Amanda was going to be my training officer, whipping those Roadrunners into shape, because that's what she does best. Finally, we asked Roz, so what are you going to do this fall? And she just looked up from her food and matter-of-factly said, oh, Group 1 Commander. Oh, just Group Commander, no big deal. But we really didn't question it because it just made sense. Of course she was going to be a Group Commander. That's exactly what she should be. So I'd like to leave you with 3 attributes that I believe that Roz possessed and we all should strive to realize. First was her ability for foresight. Just like she could read the field and be in the right place at the right time, or how she could prepare our team for a competition, our 4-degree year, we lost a bunch of firsties, and that was a lot of our experience on the team. So for the next 3 years, we were building, and she would go out to the track and pick out players that she thought would be good because they're really fast. And she would recruit all sorts of players out there, but nobody had experience, so she would take the time and effort to teach them those basic skills and advance to the more complex drills, all the while preparing us for tomorrow. So whether you're a follower or a leader, try not to get wrapped in the conflicts that are happening right in front of you. While those are important to overcome, you should be thinking about what's going to happen in the next hour, week, month, year, years down the road, preparing for the next. Were you guys prepared for a pandemic? Were you guys prepared for a gas shortage in North Carolina? And we're like launching jets that were half filled because we were going to fill off of main tankers because they have gas. So we stole some from them. It was great. But you just never know when those things are going to happen. And they always say a leader should say, when they say jump, you ask how high. But a good leader that's prepared has already jumped off that bridge because they got parachutes on the back of all their people and they prepared the landing zone. So the second thing I'll leave you with is Roz could compartmentalize. And what I mean by that is just think of all the different parts of your life that need your attention and think of them as volumes on a radio knob. So when we were on the lacrosse field, she was not worried about papers due or GRs or SAMIs that her group needed to be getting ready for. No, she was worried about the job at hand, our team, our teammates, building up for the future. Her lacrosse volume was always on full blast and the others were turned down. I remember driving back on a late Sunday night. We're all telling stories, making jokes, reminiscing about the game. No one doing any sort of schoolwork. And I looked at her and I said, don't you have a 5 or 7 page paper due tomorrow morning? And she's like, yep. Oh, is it done? And she looks at me and said, no, but it will be. And then just continued on with all the conversations. Maybe she was a robot, I don't know, because I would have been stressing out. But it just never fazed her. She was cool, calm, collected at all times and focused where focus needed to be at the time. So let me tell you, there are a number of radios that you'll have to juggle, and it doesn't get easier. So right now, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a DO, I'm a pilot. And all those radios are fighting for attention, so you have to figure out how to juggle that to make sure you don't get drowned out by the noise. Roz would do this so naturally, it makes me jealous, so I keep striving to be just like her. And the last thing I'll leave you with is effort, or the time that you put into people, because that also contributes to compartmentalization and preparation. The time you put into people offers the ability for you to build and strengthen your trust between each other. It instills confidence, and they will naturally want to follow you. Just how Roz had the foresight to build a team, despite losing all of our experienced 4-degree years, she instructed each person on that team as an individual, an appropriate amount of teaching for each skill level. And we had the gambit. We had very experienced all to the very, very first time on the field. And lacrosse is not an easy sport to just pick up. At no time did she scoff anyone off. She was focused and prepared to help everyone. There are quite a few games I would be emotionally and physically drained because I was running up and down the field trying to make things happen, and it just wasn't. And we lost, and I was upset with Roz too. But like, Roz, I know you have the ability to put that ball in the goal. Why didn't you do that? And she would, Roz being Roz, would look at me, and she would say, did you see when I passed that ball off to Trish, who dumped it off to LK, who then passed it to Steph, who made a sweet move and put it on the goal? Or how Manders came out of that ground scuffle, or Miji blitzing down the field? We all tried harder because of the time she put into us. She was putting on our parachute. The best leaders I have poured themselves into other people, getting to know their followers inside work and out. I would easily follow them to battle. They wouldn't ask me to do something I couldn't handle or I wasn't prepared for. You take care of your people, the mission will take care of itself. Again, I'm truly humbled to be here. Thank you for letting me breathe some life into Roz, and hopefully I gave you a small glimpse of who Roz was. We should all try to be like, with her foresight, her ability to compartmentalize, and putting her efforts where they needed it most. And if you give me one more minute, I do have a couple of gifts. Not the standard ones, but very Roz appropriate. On last Friday, Lieutenant Colonel Krista Burrows, I know our filter, some of you may know her because she just left here as an AOC just recently. The two of us flew over the skies of North Carolina in F-15E, and we flew 3 lacrosse balls. One went to Bridie, who's laid up in bed, recovering from surgery. Take care, don't overdo it. The second went to Bob and Susie, Roz's parents. And the third, right here, if the Academy allows it, I would like to be placed in Roz's display. I told myself I wouldn't do that. Thank you again for your time and the best of wishes for you graduates back there. You guys are so inspiring. The future is bright for you. Be like Roz and you'll be the best.
Thank you, Major Fitzsimmons, for your reflections and inspiring words. At this time, the Director of the Center for Character and Leadership Development, Colonel Kim Campbell, will present the Character and Leadership Certificates to our distinguished finalists. Cadets, as your name is announced, please come forward to accept your recognition certificate. As each certificate is presented, our photographer will take an official photo. However, friends and family are also encouraged to take their own photos. Our first nominee, Cadet First Class Derek Dye, distinguished himself in performance of outstanding service to the Air Force Academy in various roles, culminating as the Chief of the Cadet Wing Operations Center, where he led the daily accountability of the entire Cadet Wing. Also, he played a key role in the National Character and Leadership Symposium as co-lead of the team responsible for implementing a new registration system and virtual platform, ensuring over 6,000 attendees could participate in the symposium. Congratulations. Our next nominee, Cadet Tweethin Pham, distinguished herself in performance of outstanding service to the Air Force Academy in various positions, culminating as a flight commander in Cadet Squadron 9. She commanded the Science of Learning team, providing mentorship, tutoring, and seminars for the Cadet Wing. She also developed the Medical Professionals Preparedness Club, which is the first cadet-run club in Academy history to serve and support interested pre-health cadets. Our next nominee, Cadet First Class Michael Greisman, distinguished himself in performance of outstanding service to the Air Force Academy as the 2021 National Character and Leadership Symposium Cadet in Charge. In this role, he was directly responsible for the coordination and execution of the Academy's most visible character and leadership development event. He has held various roles at the squadron, group, and wing levels, and served as the speaker team lead for NCLS 2020. Our next nominee, Cadet First Class Julia Rochester, distinguished herself in the performance of outstanding service to the Air Force Academy in various positions, culminating as the Wing Character Officer for Development. She led a staff of 88 cadets to manage character development across the Cadet Wing and executed 3 training initiatives to enhance the Wing Character Program. Additionally, she was the cadet in charge of the NCLS integration team that coordinated various NCLS activities across USAFA before, during, and after the symposium. The final nominee, Cadet First Class Marcus Ross, distinguished himself in performance of outstanding service to the Air Force Academy. As a leader on the Wings of Blue, he supported training and upgrade status for rising cadet jump masters. Additionally, he is responsible for recurring events such as break periods, exemplar dinners, ring dance, and 100s night. The distinctive accomplishments of each of these cadets reflects great credit upon themselves and the United States Air Force Academy, honoring the spirit of service of First Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte. Thank you, Colonel Campbell. Before we announce the recipient of this year's Schulte Award, I would like to take a moment to explain the symbolism of the Schulte Medallion. The medallion is gold and silver in color and is emblazoned with the Polaris star, also known as the North Star. While other stars move across the sky, the North Star position remains fixed, making it an indispensable navigation tool for centuries to come. The Polaris here signifies a moral compass, representative of those who serve as a guiding force and a beacon to those around them. In memory of Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte, her name is engraved on the back of the medallion, and her picture is showcased on the front. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now recognize the 2021 recipient of the First Lieutenant Roslyn L. Schulte Medallion. Mr. and Mrs. Schulte, please come forward for the presentation of the medallion case. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021 Center for Character and Leadership Development First Lieutenant Roslyn L. Schulte Cadet Award recipient is Cadet First Class Julia Rochester. Yeah. Congratulations, Cadet Rochester. Cadet finalists, at this time, I invite you all to join Mr. and Mrs. Schulte on stage for a group photograph. There we go. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Schulte, and cadet nominees. You may be seated. We would now like to invite Colonel Kim Campbell, Director of the Center for Character and Leadership Development, to the stage to provide closing remarks. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
Thank you. What an awesome ceremony. I don't know, I just feel so charged after this and so excited for our graduates, soon-to-be graduates, for what they are about to do. I do want to say thank you to the CCLD team, both in the back, putting on the production up front, for putting this together today, to Cadet Walters for helping with the proffering today. Thank you for really a tremendous ceremony. Thank you to our senior leaders. Today is a really busy day, and I'm so glad to see you all here, to be part of this, to meet the Schulte family, and to hear from Atlas about what this award is about. You touched us all. I'm not going to talk too much because I'll start tearing up again, which I can see from several of us had that impact, because we can see firsthand how much Roz means to her classmates, and how much impact she had, even in a very short time. To the Schultes, it's so wonderful to see you again. I spoke at this ceremony 3 years ago. I had no idea that in 3 years I would be hosting the ceremony, but it's so nice to see you again. I've loved the opportunity to get to know you and to learn more about Roz, who truly made an impact in a very short time. To our cadets, I hope you learned something today about Lieutenant Roslyn Schulte. I hope you learned something about what you are being asked to do, what you are being called to do when you pin on lieutenant bars in just a few days, because she set the example for all of us when it comes to service and excellence. And hearing the stories about her and the things that she did and the impact that she made as a first lieutenant. I mean, rarely do you hear stories about someone who excelled in leadership as a lieutenant, but she was competent, she cared, she was credible, and she made an impact and she made a difference. And that's what we're asking you to do. She set the example for you, and now it's your turn. It's passed over to you as you graduate and commission to the Air Force and Space Force to go out there and lead by example, be leaders of character. You have done an excellent job here at the Academy. That is why you're here today, and that's why we're recognizing all of you. But now the true work starts. This is the beginning of the next chapter for you. So congratulations, and I'd like to ask our graduates, soon-to-be graduates, our nominees, to stand one last time to be recognized for the awesome work that they did. Over to you, Katie.
Thank you for your attendance. This concludes today's ceremony. I invite you to enjoy some grab-and-go refreshments that are located at the back of the room as you exit the forum. And congratulations again to the class of 2021.
Woo-hoo!